Hey, welcome back. I'm Bryan Kiser, the face of Growth Coaching Systems Network, where we help people live a better life and run a better business. I'm wrapping up my series on the 3 Ps, the one person solving one problem worth solving and doing it with the product or service that you do best. Today, to illustrate that point, the product or service that you do best, I've actually invited 2 guests to be part of my video blog to illustrate what I do best, connect people and connect experts, coaches, mentors, done-for-you service providers to you, my audience. I have Matthew Pollard here and I have Mike Calderwood with me, and we're going to be discussing what they do best and how they arrived at some of those criteria for narrowing down that one person, for figuring out what is the problem that's worth solving for my audience. And also, the first question, gentlemen, how did you arrive at the product or service that you do best? I mean, you guys, we're entrepreneurs. We solve a lot of things. We know a lot of things, and we're attracted to bright, shiny objects out there that look better than the one we actually have. So how did you go about narrowing down the product or service that you do best? And Mike, I'm going to let you answer that first.
Sure. A lot of it for me was trial and error. The other thing that it was for me is, as I narrowed down my niche market, I was able to get feedback from them on what they truly needed. So when I started off, my product line was very generalist, and you had seen that product line in the past. And then I began to bring it down further and further and further to what my ideal client actually needed and wanted.
Gotcha. And Matthew?
Well, I guess I started completely by accident, really. I learned that I had to figure out sales because when I started in my career, I had to become a door-to-door salesperson. I had to figure it out quick. And I was a very introverted, shy guy, so I really didn't jump to it. It wasn't my natural ability. So I had to figure out a system or a process that allowed a really introverted guy to be very extroverted. And I thought it was impossible to start. And I was lucky enough to discover YouTube when it was really just becoming known. And I learned the steps, I learned the strategy. And what I realized is over time, I started to learn how to differentiate, I started to learn how to niche market. And all of these were just strategies for getting more customers. And what I realized almost by accident was that my core ability was helping people get more customers and obtain rapid growth through a system rather than I've got the gift of the gab because I was just born to sell, which most people just don't have.
Right, right, exactly. Well, Mike, you and I, we talk quite a bit, but I know that you have really narrowed down over the last 12 to 18 months your target audience and that one person that you have found a problem worth solving with the product or service that you do best. And I know you narrowed that down. Can you go through that process with us a little bit and explain how you narrowed that down?
Sure. So in the beginning, I had FOMO, fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out. None of us ever get that.
No. And so I wanted to try to be everything to everybody in the business world. So if you were an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, skillpreneur, small business owner, whatever, I was your guy. It doesn't work that way. And so through 3 years now of coaching and consulting, starting with Thrive Business Center on to Mike Calderwood and Calderwood Coaching LLC and the Advantage program, I've narrowed my niche to the solopreneur, home-based business owner type people. I do a great job at helping them build their message, prospect, network, and convert what their efforts into sales, okay, through building their message and everything else. What I found was my process for doing that didn't really work for larger businesses. So as I went through, as my business grew, as my consulting grew, I'm a big proponent, I said this during the first question, customer feedback.
Yeah.
I always listen to what my customers are telling me, and I'm not afraid to ask. And the reason why is sometimes we're afraid of the answer, but the answer is what's going to move us forward and help us hone in and be better for them in the end.
Right.
So that was kind of my process of getting down to where I'm at now, more niche, more focused, and because of that, I'm serving the right client better.
Gotcha. Now, Matt, I'm going to let you answer the same question there, and then I've got a general question for both of you because it kind of it'll wrap us up in this interview and just be real concise. So I'll let you answer that same question. You know, you've narrowed your market down too. You have a 27-step process that you do, and it's targeted at a specific market. Can you tell us how you, I mean, like you said, you kind of had to learn on the fly, but tell us that process that you developed and how that works.
Well, first I should probably say I went kicking and screaming because I love shiny objects. So every time I yeah, exactly. I mean, I got the idea that what I was really good at, but I was also really good at a lot of other things. I mean, when you learn how to create a system, you learn how to create a system in anything.
Right.
So when you see a shiny object, you're like, oh, I'll go run to that, I'll go run to that. And what I had to learn is regardless of whatever shiny object was around, I needed to be good at one thing.
Right.
Because as soon as I split my message, it didn't work. And, you know, I mean, we were talking and you were just a guest on my show, Better Business Coach podcast.
Right.
And right through that, I teach people how to be a better business coach. But I continually say that my core skill is niche marketing, differentiation, and sales systemization. What I do this for is I had to learn how to do this to help people get the solid foundation so I could create that rapid growth for them.
Right.
And that's why I can give something that huge away.
Right.
So constantly when I was focusing on my 27 steps, it was, okay, which element do I need to put in here? And structuring it into a simple thing that everybody could understand so that when I go to market, I could really say, what I help people do is I help people get more customers and obtain rapid growth. And it's a message that everybody can understand, as opposed to, I'm a business coach, I systemize sales, I can also help you with your call center and your CRM program. People are like, okay, so you can help with everything, but you're not really a specialist.
Right.
And I can get a specialist.
Exactly. You're a jack of all trades, but an expert of none.
And this is the thing. People love talking to jack of all trades at networking events because they can get a little bit of random advice on a whole series of topics. However, when it comes to getting something specific done, you want an expert on that specific thing. So what I realized is I could have lots of people talking to me and we could talk about lots of ideas, but when it came to it, they wouldn't hire me. So by focusing on what I was truly good at, and just messaging that and offering advice on other things, but saying, that's not what I do, that's not my day job, this is what I specialize in. Anytime that opportunity came up, my phone would ring off the hook.
Right.
So it just works.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad you brought up the message point, because this is a question for both of you, and this kind of ties together everything in the 3-piece series. And that is that you spent some time narrowing down your target audience and really that one person that you speak to. You've spent some time doing the same thing. Has your message changed to your audience, or are you just using different language and visuals in a more targeted manner, with that demographic being a little bit more concise and a little more laser focused on that one person?
Yes.
It's a very big question, but the point is the messaging. Like I bring out in one of my blog posts that Budweiser sponsors the Super Bowl. Okay, they have 3 or 4 or 5 different commercials. The context, the visuals, the people inside them, all of them are different in each one of the commercials. None of them are the same target market, but the message is the same. We're sponsoring this event. If you get thirsty, then we would like it if you drank our products,
right.
And we hope you drink our products and enjoy this event.
Right.
And across the board, that's the message, but visually and the language and the context in which it's delivered is different. And I guess that's my question to you guys is, as you narrow down, did your message change or did the targeting change?
A little bit of both for me, I think. I think my core message is the same, that I want to help busy entrepreneurs build sustainable, profitable, thriving businesses. So that's my key message. But some of the how and some of the deeper language of how I do it has changed. And it speaks directly to that target. Once I began to narrow my target and get my niche where I wanted it, and understand the products that I do best, and I love the way you put it, I'm not going to try to articulate that as well as he did, but once I got all that, my message became clearer and clearer and clearer.
Right.
And so working with my coaches or mastermind groups and things like that, and having, for lack of better terms, brainstorming sessions, I was able to shift my message slightly, but that core message still being the same,
right,
to meet those needs.
Meet those needs.
Yeah.
And you?
So I found that my message was always consistent. However, very similar to your Heineken example, When I first started, I built businesses. So I was known as the rapid growth guy because I created rapid growth under my own businesses. And my message was I create differentiation, niche marketing, and sales strategy that makes that happen. And I'd have organizations approach me with projects, non-for-profits, government agencies sometimes, saying, can you make this work? Can you create rapid growth around an organization? And my answer was yes. What then happened is I started doing that with investors, I started doing that with clients, and I started doing it in seminars and all sorts of different types of events. And I've even got a book coming out that talks about how to do it, and I've differentiated the book. So all of the messaging is about rapid growth and getting more customers. However, I speak to many different niches now. Right. So while my core message is the same, what my differentiation is the same, the amount of reach I can have now is growing.
It's very targeted.
It's still very, very targeted, yes. And it should always stay that way. And every time, you know, I'm still quite young. So I always occasionally have an idea, and I guess the inner voice gets me to run with it. And then, you know, you hit a roadblock and you realize that's because you've stepped outside your niche. Yep. And you need to step back in, because not only do you make more money when you do that, and let's be honest, we're in business, we want to make more money, but secondly, I enjoyed it more and I got the results out of the clients that I wanted. As soon as I step out of that niche, I can help a lot, but there are specialists out there that are so much better than me. And if I'm around and I'm helping somebody get rapid growth, and I can help with something like time management or building those solid foundations, I do a magic job. However, you'd probably do much better at it than I would, because that's what your core focus is. And that's what I get people to really understand. I mean, as a business coach, you may struggle with certain things. Right. And if that's something you struggle in, and this is very similar to your message where you connect people, don't try and step where you shouldn't, because your client is going to see that you don't know what you're talking about, and they're going to wonder what advice you gave them that they didn't catch you out in. And that's why I always suggest stay within your functional skill, do what you do best, and don't be afraid to bring in partners. And we were just talking about that before the video series started.
Definitely.
Don't be afraid to bring in and work with people, because if you have a strength and they have a strength, you guys can become a very, very strong team.
Yeah, you get that.
Exactly right.
Definitely. And that's the purpose of the series here, guys, is these guys do what they do best. They don't proclaim to do anything outside that box, and they've focused it down to where they speak to one person about solving a problem that's worth solving for that one person with a product or service that they do best. And everyone knows what product and service that is. It's the one you do the easiest, the most naturally, and it makes you the most money. And I'm not afraid to say that we're here to make money. The world, our world, and everything operates on money, and we're not allowed to do or reach out to more people if we can't fund that activity. So it is the product or service that you do that makes you more money, brings in more profits. So don't be afraid to do that very scary word, sell. Okay?
It's funny though, I see in networking events all the time that people, because they love what they do, they feel like they give it all away, and they forget that they have to get paid too. It's great to get up in the morning and love what you do.
We know a few people like that, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right.
But it's okay. And it's okay. And that actually makes that actually elevates your product or service when you put a dollar figure to it, when you put a price on it.
People
Whether it's a
value
price of time or a price of money, if you put that on there and show them that the opportunity cost outweighs the dollar cost, then they're going to want to gravitate to you, and it also elevates your business, like you were saying. It makes you the expert. So, gentlemen, I want to thank you for coming on.
Thanks
Mike, if you would, real quickly, tell the audience how they can get in touch with you directly.
Sure. So you guys can go ahead and you can call or text me at 832-746-7470. Email me at mike@mikecalderwood.net, or head over to the mikecalderwood.net website and go ahead and register for our free Advantage community, where I have a suite of resources that you guys can plug into.
Excellent. Matthew, I appreciate you coming in and
doing
it. And you drove in from Austin and
I did.
And did all this. Please tell everyone how they can get in contact with you directly.
Sure. So you can hop online and find me at matthewpollard.guru. You can also check out my new podcast, which is available on iTunes, or at betterbusinesscoachpodcast.com.
Excellent. Well, you guys, I'm Bryan Kiser. I'm the face of Growth Coaching Systems Network, where I help people live a better life and run a better business. And I've wrapped up the series on the 3 Ps to excellent results one person solving one problem worth solving with the one product or service that you do best. I'll see you in my next video blog. Till then, bye-bye.